Hi everybody, my name is Anthony.
Hello everyone, my name is Chase Sedini.
Hello, my name is David Yang.
Hello, my name is Christian Fendis.
Hi, my name is Patrick Hawkins, and our community partner was the Kings River Conservancy. I just want to say I hope you're doing safe and well during this pandemic. I know it's a struggling time for all of us. But yeah, let's get to it. So the project we worked on was the Kings River Conservancy. That was our community partner. Our contact for that was Dolores DiTeresi. She's one of the board members for the Kings River Conservancy. The Kings River Conservancy, a little background on them. They were founded in 2005 with goals to protect, enhance, and educate people about the Kings River. The Kings River is about 30 minutes away from Fresno State. It's in our backyard. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. They hold river cleanups to pick up trash, paint over graffiti, and clear the walkways of like poison ivy, poison oak, stuff like that. Things that would be invasive to humans, and things that the species out there don't really need. They hold various events to fund their projects, such as the Frank Jones Memorial Barbecue, the Spring Fling, and the Moonlight over the river. We were supposed to help out with the Spring Fling this spring in April, but it unfortunately got canceled due to the pandemic. These fundraising events fund their different various projects they work on at the river, including the Trout Incubator House, which gives trout, the national species, back into the river and plentiful. They're trying to revamp the population of trout in the river. They have a plant species restoration program, an invasive species removal program, and they're putting new lines along the river walkway as well. So a few of the things that Dolores needed from us were she needed a volunteer sign-up sheet that is consistent, and she wanted it capable of going on the website, so people were able to sign up that on the website, and she would just have access to it at all times, rather than having papers that people fill out and having them potentially get lost and having to go back and have them fill them out each time. There could be a record online, and it would be easier to keep. She needed help navigating her Gmail, and creating an email contact list and a personalized email that she could send out to her volunteers each time there was a new volunteer opportunity. She wanted to create a structured announcement of upcoming events, which we did. She wanted to create a thank you letter and a letter encouraging people to volunteer, and she wanted to connect with new volunteers to consistently come to events. Obviously, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we weren't able to complete all these goals fully, but we were still able to do most of them to almost completion and still did a great job. I really enjoyed working on this project. I think we all really enjoyed working on this project. Dolores was a blessing to be around. She's a wonderful person, and I hope to work again with this organization in the future.
Goals. So going into projected goals, our first goal is to get into the finding a strategic plan to get more volunteers and recruitment. We understand last year Dolores explained to us that they didn't get very much volunteer from people. Especially it was like around the time when things were in need for help, in a way where if you can look at some of our pictures from the PowerPoint, there was a lot of vandalism everywhere and graffiti. And yeah, from there we feel like, getting involved with Fresno State, especially us as students, if we can spread the word out, it would make it much easier for Dolores to get more volunteers. Going into our second goal kind of relates to our first goal. Our second goal is basically creating a flyer. These flyers are to basically like what to expect. We hand out to students, we hand out to the community, and these flyers are to help grab in more attention that KRC is in need for help. For it would be nice to come out and support the river. And not only that, we are also providing a sign-up sheet. We noticed that Dolores thought that that sign-up sheet would really make a difference. And this sign-up sheet not only helps the community, but also keeps track and records of people coming in and out, going in through volunteers and helping out the Kings River. Going into our third goal was to teach Dolores basically the latest technology of emails. We understand that she was kind of struggling going through her emails. She didn't know how to keep contact with other people. Just going through searching through little things in there, the contact list, it was really difficult for her. And that goal for us is basically to teach her, provide just step by step a paper and just meet with her in person and basically train her and teach her how to use the email, and also just to keep in touch with all the other volunteers and workers around her. And our last goal, our fourth goal, is to basically write a thank you letter for any volunteers or people that come out there to work with us or at the Kings River. We understand that the thank you letters from last year, they were all the same. We wanted to expand more and do more work in a way where we wanted more than one thank you letter. That thank you letter was, we understand that last year they were all the same. So this year we wanted like basically 2 or 3 different ones, just to make sure that this the people that volunteer like feels different in different ways. Not everyone always receiving the same letter, and that would really think as a group that would make a big difference. First goal is to get an approval by Dolores. We hope that basically she would let us bring in more volunteers, more help to the community. We understand that the community as of right now is having some troubles, some struggles, and we would like to get an approval by her before we actually try to recruit more volunteers. And this goes on to the second goal, which creating flyers. We hope she likes, which we started and she loves it. And what we expect from there is just bringing more volunteers in the community and also from Fresno State. The sign-up sheets that we're creating is going to be really helpful in a way where not only is going to help us right now, but also in the future to keep track of how many volunteers we're receiving. Going into the third goal, we hope Dolores understands. We expect Dolores to understand that how we're teaching her to use her Gmail is a way where we're teaching her the easiest way, and hopefully she fully understands. We can be there as long as we can for the whole meeting, and we hope she just gets it down right away, and basically it'll be much easier for her in the future when she just starts training, reading the instructions like the paper we give her. It'll be much easier for her to understand. Going into our fourth goal was to getting an approval from our community partner, which is Dolores, from our thank you letters, where we decided to create 2 to 3 thank you letters. Hopefully she likes them. We didn't want to be more, we didn't want to really put out a whole 2-page. We kept it simple, made it detailed enough for any volunteer to understand, but we also like the feeling that it's more than one paper, so people would feel appreciated in a different way for every different thank you letter that they receive.
Our first recommendation is to implement a strategic plan to assist with the recruitment and retention of volunteers. Several practices will go along to help with this plan. Developing volunteer job descriptions will make sure that every volunteer will be assigned appropriately and ensure no one is wasting their time with pointless tasks. Also, setting clear goals and evaluating performances and recognizing achievement will bring volunteers back because they'll feel valued by the organization. The second recommendation is to utilize the flyer and sign-up sheets to assist volunteer management in the future. We have created a new sign-up sheet for volunteers along with more informative and visually appealing flyers for the Spring Fling and River Cleanup Day, which can be reused annually. And lastly is our recommendation to keep the lines of communication open, especially right now during this time of pandemic. Strategically planning KRC's communications is the key to coming out of this intact. This can be accomplished in several ways, including providing past volunteers with a newsletter update through the Gmail mailing list that we were helping set up, and just really getting out there that we're trying to make sure that we're fulfilling our mission even right now during times of shutdown.
So first off, our actual outcomes included various flyers for marketing for their upcoming events, such as the Spring Fling and the River Cleanup. We also presented them with a improved and simplified volunteer sign-up form, as well as a personalized thank you letter that could be sent out to each volunteer after their attendance at these events. And finally, our group came up with various strategies for actually increasing volunteer turnout at these events that we thought were going to be very impactful as far as increasing the original numbers of volunteer turnout they had. So with the marketing and the flyers, we felt it really aligned with our original goals of marketing the social and environmental awareness of the KRC and their mission of preserving the environment, and specifically the Kings River. We also felt that the sign-up form and the thank you letter were not only ways for easier communication and easier communication with volunteers for our client Dolores, but also it was meant to show that we could send these volunteers our appreciation in an effort to remotivate them to come back out for further KRC events. And finally, the various strategies that we had in place were included our personal connections to school programs, as well as school-based groups here at Fresno State, in which we felt very strongly that it would increase the volunteer turnout we could get at these KRC events. Sadly, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic did not allow us to measure our original goal of increasing the volunteer turnout from 15 to 20 volunteers by 15 to 20 volunteers. We weren't able to see if that was actually going to work because of this pandemic and the sheltering in place action that's going on. But we did feel very strongly that the way we planned on marketing the social environmental impact of the KRC and the impact that these volunteers could have, as well as the simplified communication that Dolores could have with these volunteers, and of course the direct connections we would use to increase volunteer turnout. We felt that these methods were all very strongly aligned with our original goals to increase the awareness and the volunteer turnout the Kings River Conservancy could have.
Team reflection and lesson learned. Our group worked closely with Dolores, our client, who requested multiple assignments that consist of a thank you letter, a volunteering form, and instruction to create Google contact. Each team member take on a specific task and work individually and complete it before the next meeting with Dolores. Our group was successful impressing our client. Although we are successful in our project individually, however, what we lack the most in our group is having a good communication. The communication in some cases is some members do not respond back straight away when questions are being asked in the group message, or sometimes the members give a vague response back to the group message. To avoid last minute and miscommunication, the team members can ask each other individually and ask questions to get an answer before it's too late. And then for the spring cleaning event, which is our biggest volunteering event, where because of the outbreak of the COVID-19, it was canceled. To make up for the hour we missed for our service learning plan, we went to volunteer by ourselves on a different day. A lesson that our team learned from the event volunteering alone is that without a coordinator or a supervisor, we learned that it's hard because there were no person to direct us.